So you know how that goes. You do one DIY project and then you start thinking of all the others things that you want to add a little bit more character to the house that we bought. Now we've been in here over a year, and so now we're really getting the feeling of what we want to commit, like doing the backsplash. Who likes to hang blinds? We need insulated blinds because of coming off the field. In the summer, we just get sun. In the winter, we just get wind. So these are just your regular old blinds that have been cut to fit, that have no insulation in them whatsoever. Living room, we actually have insulated blinds. So these are room darkening. So you pull on them and they are, gently pull this out. But as you can see, they're darkening. So the inside is dark. But if you pull from the top, you can let light in, even though it's dark out right now, because, you know, it's winter and it's 5 o'clock and it's dark out. So, but they are insulated, so it helps with the wind, especially when you have an old farmhouse. And then Mr. Tater the other day, Mr. Tater, yes, you, let me climb onto my couch. So I left this one open and Mr. Tater wanted to get through it. So it broke. I don't know if he broke it or if it just dry rotted. They're really not that old. I mean, I guess you could sew them, but I don't know how you do that. So, yes, so we had to go ahead and order a new blind for here. Can't trust the cat.
As you can tell, Yvonne and I really don't have much of a life. We tend to fix things in our house or go to auctions, right? Yeah. But that is things that we enjoy to do. So see how well this works, taking this off. So these actually Yvonne ordered on Amazon because we wanted a nice tight fit. So as you can see, I mean, there's, I don't know, probably 1/4 of an inch on each side. This site that she went to, you actually could put down to the fraction to the 1/8 of an inch, wasn't it? I think it was the 1/8 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch. So you can get a really tight fit as long as you're sure that's the right size. And that's it. Not bad, huh? Yes, the upper part, and it's hard to see because it's nighttime, but that would let the sunlight through.
You don't see a cobweb behind the curtains. Okay, dust bunnies. No dust bunnies for the new year. Well, here I go again, getting inspired by a TikTok, trying to explain to Chris the best of how we can wrap these beams and make them look like wood. I don't know if he's believing me. I don't know why it is so sad. So all the Christmas decorations are down. Every last little bit is down. It is a snow day. Very snowy day, as you all know here in this area. Yes, I haven't put my decor back up. I always do a little bit of dusting, move some of the bigger items around. figure out where I want to redecorate things. And the one thing about this is our dining room is these beams. We have these beams, y'all. So, I don't, they're not even structural because you can see they end. They end right. Why? Why do they end there? I don't know. So I saw a post where somebody made some faux beams. Now I did the foam beams in our garage, but that is a long space to have to like move a ladder and have your hands above your head. So we are going to try something that I saw on the interweb and hope that it works out for the best. We are the people that just dive right in. We see a post, we see a little short video, and we just dive right in. So what it is foam board. This just happens to be green. We got it at our local Jonesville Lumber. The one I saw was pink. Don't worry, y'all. I shared this idea with Chris. He only raised an eyebrow once. So what we're going to be doing with the foam is we're going to be making a wrap for those beams. So we took the measurements. We're going to have to glue it, attach it together because the foam board is not as long as what the beams are, but we have our measurements. The 5 inches is how wide, the 6 inches is how tall each side are, and we need to cap one of them because one of them you will be seeing. So this is one of those teamwork, make the dream work kind of things. Foam board is large, it's really lightweight to keep everything measured, and that the straight edge doesn't move. I'm holding it down for him. Yeah, luckily we usually work well together. So the sheets of foam board are only 8 foot across, and as you see, we need 12 foot. So we're going to have to glue them together. So the TikTok, I think it was, that they just showed them using some Gorilla glue, but we're just going to be using Tight Bond Quick and Thick, and the hopes that, I don't know how you do this by yourself. You definitely need some type of help to keep it together. But yes, we're going to go ahead and start gluing everything together using painter's tape as kind of like a clamp. I have paint and stain since I did the beams in the garage. You know what? I feel like we can definitely accomplish this. So really the tricky part of this whole project is getting your base together, getting the foam board glued together. So yeah, and then having that long run of a 12-foot section, and then making not quite a box, but a U shape. Yeah, so we came up with the idea, just tape every seam that you could possibly tape, but it still didn't feel like you need this to set up overnight. You need it to be strong. So what he ended up doing is he ended up making little 90-degree angles and taping those into the inside. And then we have the extra piece of a 5-inch board to make sure that it's staying that size and the shape and straight up that we need it to stay. So to make sure that these were good and sealed, we went ahead and let them dry overnight, and now it's time to put some wood filler. I did go, and I'll show you my little my little thing that Chris suggested we do was to put a bamboo skewer. So put a bamboo skewer. That one fell on the ground. I'm not going to pick it up. But yes, so just to make sure that they were going, like it's going to be nice and secure. And then just clip it off. And then I did that every so often. Just some extra security. I think it's good and on there, but, boring part, removing all the tape. But it had its purpose. It acted like a clamp and held the pieces together. Exactly what we needed them to do. Okay, so I'm on to doing the wood filler. So I've already done one of the beams and it took half the container. So we want to fill in the cracks anywhere that it's, you know, wood's not even, but you don't want to have a, you know, a huge crack or anything where the foam, and then where I put the little bamboo skewer in there, or a couple holes where I tried to and it wouldn't go in. It just kept doing it until it would go in. And then I'm kind of doing a cheater method. I'm taking a wet wipe and I want to make sure that I'm getting it into that unfinished part of the foam board. So I'm kind of pushing it in there because it doesn't necessarily, you know, it's not acting like wood, of course, but it seems to be working out. If I have a wet cloth and I can get it pushed in there, I want to make sure that that edge is sealed with the wood putty. And then I'm just spreading the wood putty out. Is it traditional? Are you supposed to do that? Probably not, but I just want to make sure that that edge is sealed in. Okay, now I'll just let it dry overnight. But it's all wood filled in, hopefully enough that you don't see that foam board. When it's dried overnight, I'm sanding it. I'm just using my orbital sander. I'm not too worried. There's a lot of other things we're going to go over this for right now. So I just by chance have these graining combs that I kept from an auction. So it was a whole pack. And what that's going to do for me is it's going to, with these 3 different combs, I can make the graining technique. So that's what I've been playing with. Like not keeping it straight. And then if I want a little knot, what I'm going to do is just take the comb and kind of make a kind of a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'll kind of get that real graining look. It's kind of fun. You can feel the grooves in the foam. So I'm going to take some shellac and fill in that wood putty so when I go to paint it, the wood putty doesn't take funny, you know, absorbs in the paint differently. I did do a tester piece to make sure that it didn't melt the foam. So for my first color, I'm going to be doing Wick, which is just a brown, and I'm going to go, it's a, you know, it's a creamy brown. I'm going to try to see if I can apply it with a roller because there's a lot of surface area, but I want to start off with the sides first. Oh yeah, it'll roll on. Awesome. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it would or not. Well, they look a wood color now. Gotta let this dry and then I can move on. Provincial Walnut Stain, which is a lighter than what this is, because I'm going to end up doing 3 colors to kind of give it that wood look. So I had a sample packet, but I already knew that I loved it because I've used it on another project. Actually, our wood beams in our bar area in our garage. So just like milk paint, it's equal part waters to equal part powder. So I just measured following a line on the Dixie cup here. And then I'll just get it mixed up. So it has a little bit of a reddish hue, but I'm not looking for anything dark right now because this is actually darker than what I probably would have picked out if I went into the store. But I'm using what I had. And I had all this stain because I thought we were going to stain, and Chris was going to make more wood beams, but man, they are time consuming and not cheap to make. Okay, now this stain part is dry, but it's a milk paint stain, so before I put my last color on, I'm going to seal this in with some polyacrylic. Now to make this one look like that one. And what I'm using now is Minwax gel stain in the chestnut, which is the same thing I used in our garage. So we're going to wipe it on, get it into all those little detailed crevices. So what I'm doing is taking a shop cloth and then I'm just going to drag it. I don't want to swirl or anything because I don't want to make different marks. And that's what we're going to do. Now I just have to wait for them to dry. Gel stain usually takes a little bit longer to dry, especially in this cold weather. Okay, so we're testing out the dry fit first before we put any adhesive on here. So if we need to cut any off. Good thing it's lightweight. So the idea is to caulk it, and then once we get it up there, we can do some brad nails to hold it in place. That's our plan anyway. How blessed am I to have a husband that doesn't think all my DIYs that I've seen on TikTok are completely crazy and off my rocker. So I'm happy that he will jump in. I show him a little bit of what they did. We kind of tweak it because, you know, when you're doing a social media post, you only have X amount of time to post. So sometimes you are leaving out bits and pieces. Oh my gosh, those beams just added so much character into that space. The beams were already there, but adding the faux, oh my gosh. It was actually the hardest part was just getting the foam to stay together glued. It is nice and secure. Getting them grooved to look like wood really was not that hard. 3 different colors to get them to have like a texture and not all be one color. Not hard at all either. A little bit of work with a little bit of adhesive, a couple brad nails, and we got them up there. And just a little bit of caulk, because of course, you know, not everything's a straight straight line in this house. It was originally built in 1851, so they did their best when they were doing the remodel. So thank you so much for taking the journey with Chris and I for tackling DIYs. I hope we inspired you to tackle your own DIYs. Find a feature in your house. It doesn't always have to be original. It can be faux, it can be fake. We've done, in our last house, we did a brick wall in our basement. I love that paneling, as long as you just, every other, like, make them interlock like a Lego or puzzle, it actually looks like it's real brick. So thank you so much for taking the journey on with us. And we will see you next time, guys. And you can see what we're up to. Bye.